Welcome to our Hatchery Live. I'm Jose Leal with my partner Matt Perez. And today we're joined by Hannes Alton, who I met at the OEDF conference. I always say that backwards. EODF conference in Lisbon in September. And we've had the opportunity to talk a little bit then, but today we're hoping that we're really going to dig deep into Hannes, who he is, what's brought him here, and what it is that he wants to do in the world of organizational design, in the world of organizations. So Hannes, welcome. Thank you for joining us, and appreciate you having the time to come and spend some time with us.
Thank you, Jose and Matt, for the invitation. I'm looking forward to speak about the radical world and looking forward for an interesting conversation.
So my first question to you is, how did you get into organizational design, and what's been your path through that? Like, what have you experienced? Just tell us all the dirty laundry about what happened that got you into thinking about how we need to change organizations.
Okay. So my organization design career started already in university. I studied sociology and with specialization on organizational sociology. And this was my first real contact with the world of organization and organization design, also social psychology, team dynamics, and so on. And afterwards I started directly my career in international company in a HR function, doing acting as a training officer. And during the first 3 years, I had also the opportunity to do an intensive lean training course organized by the company I worked with. And and my main focus was always about the people, but I always also wanted to offer them a good framework system so in which they can thrive and be the best at work. And during my career, I obviously working in HR, you had to do some challenging stuff, some stuff which I wasn't that happy to do, but I had to deliver it. And in this period, I always struggled a little bit with myself, and somehow I felt always a little bit disconnected, but didn't realize this at the moment. And then I started a new chapter in my career. Starting as CHRO. Also, I don't like this term very much. I don't like the chief in this abbreviation. And hoping to have the real opportunity to change things, and which I already did. But in this period, I entered also in a very vicious circle. So doing a lot of work, I felt more and more disconnected from myself. And in this period also started a coaching to do some internal work, real internal work. And in this period I had also to face my evil me, I'll call it like this, in the mirror. And this wasn't easy at all to see it, to accept it, and to work on it. But I started this journey, and in all this time, I worked really hard on improving the overall system, the overall organization, and then in course of a couple of months, I had two experiences which told me, okay, Hannes, please rethink about what you're doing. As I had for about 2 weeks a very heavy flu with very high fever. I had to stay in bed for 2 weeks, and after 2 months of this flu, I had this ski accident. So my first in my life. I broke my knee. I had to do a surgery. And this was also the starting point to really, really change something, what I already did. I started a couple of months after my surgery, my own business, working as a freelancer, focusing on organization design, and to offer my expertise and experience to clients to improve, to work really on their system. And in this time, I also attended the masterclass of EUDF, so the European Organization Design Forum, and found in this training, in this environment, many people who were almost on the same track with similar thoughts, and I experienced a really good energy in this. And and now I'm acting as a trustee on the UDF board to give something to the org design community back. And this is what I'm doing.
So thank you for all that, because that was the story. That was the story. So I appreciate that. Two questions that come to me. What we usually do is we start referencing radical stuff towards the end of the conversation, but you've opened the door on two different things here that I think really point to radical. One is all the things you did, all the, as you said, evil things and the things that you weren't proud of. And we call that the fiat system, the things we end up doing to each other, and the way that the system causes us to do them to each other. Love to talk about that. The other question is around when you talk about your true self and who you are and the things that you were sort of coming back to. What I'd like to ask about that after you talk about that fiat system is who were you and who are you now, and what do you think has changed in you? So sorry for two questions at once, but I didn't want to miss out on those on catching both of those.
Well, I have a third question.
Just to make it a little harder for you.
Just to make it harder on you, and you can't get enough on this. You said in passing, you said I had two things that I wasn't happy to do, but I had to deliver anyways. Could you give us an example of or two or of the kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. So I tried to handle all three questions.
Wait a minute. Let me throw a fourth one. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, during the financial crisis in 2008, 2009, I felt quite alone in my job, as we had to handle a quite challenging situation. And in the company I worked for, we had also to reduce some staff. And this was the first situation where I faced, where I had to struggle with myself, obviously, because I was thinking first, okay, what are the consequences for the persons? And on the other side, okay, I have to communicate this hard thing to the people, and how I can do this. And can trust me, I had at least 2 sleepless nights before. And then I did it. And I didn't feel good at all. And well, at the other side, everything went well. I'm still in connection with these people. We are speaking to each other, and they found their own ways and some better careers outside the former system. And this gave me this put some other light on my work. Then working in a Fiat system, so I was always working in quite big companies, so very hierarchical, very focused on positions, not much on persons. So the authority also came from the position, not often from the person itself. And there was also a kind of disconnection between thinking and acting. And in these situations, I used to ask myself, okay, it's quite strange. When people are entering in an organization, they have to act and not to decide anything, but when they are outside, they have to take decisions about their life, to buy a house, to make some childs, and stuff like that. And this was not always that easy. But on the other side, I said to myself, okay, I was always very passionate to do my job, to deliver, to do my job well. And as Fiat systems are based basically on fear, I delivered, and I delivered very good outcomes. And but the other side, I was in a vicious circle. And because there was no end in sight. So when I finished one challenging project, so the next challenging came straight afterwards. And I had never, and I gave me never this time to relax a little bit and to think about it. And this was also one of the reasons, I think, where I disconnected more and more from myself.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds to me like, did you understand that you were going through that at that time? Did you see the Fiat system, or did you blame yourself?
I somehow felt it, but I felt it, I've seen it, I recognized it, but on the other side, I accepted it. And I think this is one thing I had to do better in this period, absolutely. And but not having the time to think really about, or to connect with other people, to exchange other thinkings. There was no space for that. The only space I found was during my holidays, where I used to read at least 2 books on HR or organization design, and to come back with some ideas. But then at the moment when you're entering the organization, so these new ideas, these fresh ideas are away, because you're seeing at the one side all the work that remained during your leave, and so you're again in this vicious circle.
Mm-hmm.
So you lived in the Fiat system, and we've all lived in the same Fiat system. So we've all experienced some aspects of that. I had to fire people in North Carolina who were my friends, and I had to fire people here in California and stuff like that. It never felt good. It never felt good, or it's just, or nothing like that. So, yeah, we understand your pain.
And I think those are the hard ones, as you pointed out, Hannes. I'm sure we've all had sleepless nights through dealing with that. In the organization that I was in, I went through 6 rounds of changes because we were in the .com startup world, and so six reorgs. But I think what is, for me, the most interesting aspect of the fiat system and the lens that leads us to that is actually the more subtle things, the little things we do every day. Let's manipulate that employee when we hire them, how we negotiate the contract. Let's manipulate them by changing their title. Let's manipulate them by changing the way we move them in the organizational chart. It's just this series of continuing little subtle changes and things that we know we're doing manipulation. We know we're forcing things around. And yet, again, like you said, you know it, but you've just accept that that's the way it is.
That's your job.
So my question to you, Hannes, is that sense of, for when you were going through your 2 weeks of torture, which I'm sure that was, what do you think? I hate to use this word because it's often used, but what woke you up? What was the thing that made that happen? What question did you ask yourself in that moment?
It's interesting because I've seen 2 aspects. So at the one side, the theory, how things could work or should work. The other side is in practice. And to see a completely different picture. And the thing that really woke me up was when I really started my coaching, and where I recognized in that I was finished in a fiat system, that I was finished in a fiat role, which is not that good. And this is also the time I started to recognize that, and I always knew that deep in my heart, that both organizations and people can do much better than they're doing currently. And this strong belief gave me a lot of force, a lot of strength to pursue the path I've started, yeah. And I'm in the middle of it, so it's a never-ending road. So it's continuous work on yourself, on client projects, and yeah, that's great. So I'm feeling alive. That's good.
Aren't we all, though? Right? We're all in that transition. We'd like to say that we're flipping the lens because we've lived all our lives with this dark lens of ourselves and of each other and of the system, and to be able to flip that lens, and really that's what we describe when you ask that question. You flip the lens on seeing something different, seeing a different way of being and a different way of potentially organizing. And so my question to you is, what are some of the insights that you've gained now that you have that clearer lens on what's happening, what's been happening?
Mm-hmm.
What kinds of insights are you seeing?
The insights are various. On the one side, organizations know that they need to change, but on the other side, they don't want to change. So they don't want to challenge the current status quo, because this means a lot of work, a lot of effort from all.
But organizations don't exist. They're just a legal thing.
Organizations are a little thing, yeah, but I'm seeing more. So organizations is more, I see them as a living system, and not much.
It's a collection of people.
It's a collection of people. Yeah, organizations are built on people and from people. Yes.
So when you say they don't want to change, you mean the boss, right?
I'm meaning the boss. Yeah, not the people.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the board. Yeah, and because you stop making money. It's a challenge to making money. You can't do that. So yeah, that's a problem.
What is the biggest thing that you're finding as the reason why? What do they say? Is it because it's costly, because it takes time, because it's hard, because it's impossible? What are the reasons that they give for not they? Here I am saying
They, yeah.
they,
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it is at the one side a lot of effort, a lot of work. Then they are fearing that they are not able to make the change happen. Then the other side, there are always people, mostly at the top of the organization, that they don't really want to change, just to make some to change some to work on some symptoms, and not on the real core of the organization. And some try to fix the system by smaller interventions. And they're thinking that they can fix it like this. Okay, they can fix it maybe on the short term, but never at the mid and the long term, as always the same problems arise again and again. So also organizations are in a vicious circle. Then there's also a lack of a vision, I recognize. So people in the organizations have no idea or not a good feeling what would be possible.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this makes me really sad, to be honest, really sad, because human beings are so adaptable, can do such great things. And so if everyone can do this for his own, why organizations, so people systems, are doing this change so hard?
Yeah, but really,
Oops, he disappeared. So I'm going to ask
oh, can you hear me?
a question. Oh, now I can hear you. Yeah.
I was just going to say that, I mean, is it really a surprise that from the day we're, born, the fiat system says you can do this and you can do that. And, when you're 5 years old, somebody says, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you grow up? Meaning, what work will you have? And we start being conditioned to think, I have to be an organization. They have to hire me. I have to be employed. I have to do the things that somebody wants. I have to be a good employee. I have to be a good citizen. I have to be not what I want to be, but what society wants me to be, and how I should be behaved.
I have to earn a living.
I have to earn a living. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to, like you said, it's not easy for all of us to have a different vision. And I think that's really the role that all of us have to play, is how do we start opening the door on a new vision? How do we flip the lens?
Yes.
Because if we don't do that, we cannot do what we don't see.
Right.
And I think most people don't see that possibility. I have another question about that, Hannes.
Yeah.
Have you seen that it's also a fear of losing control?
Absolutely, yes. I really think so, because some people are used to have the control, and to feel control less makes them fear. But once you're losing control, you are feeling more alive, from my point of view. I experienced this because I started the freelance career without any connection to possible clients, to possible projects. So it was kind of a free fall, but this free fall felt very good. And there's always a sort of control, if it's visible or not visible, if you can feel it or not. So there's always a certain force that guides you towards the thing that are right for you at this moment.
You feel alive.
Yes.
You feel alive. You feel alive because you're actually in the moment sensing what needs to happen rather than simply going through whatever motion has already been prescribed.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
That's a beautiful way to put it. I appreciate you describing it that way, because it's very rare that what we allow to lead us in our work is what we sense rather than what we have to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, do you have examples of people doing that?
Not many. I'm just seeing it in some organizations. Okay, they're building up a budget and a strategy, and they're thinking, okay, that everything goes in a straight line. But life does never go in a straight line, and and then at a certain point they are losing some control, and that's good. But they all survived up to now. And it's quite rare to find people saying, okay, they give up the control and to see what happens next.
One of the people that I think you know certainly better than I do, but I've met over this last year is Paul Tolchinsky, who we interviewed a few weeks ago. And my sense is the way he stewards EODF is through that being alive sense. And I get that. And I wonder if that's something that you perceive as true, and what it means to you and the organization.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So Paul Toshinsky is a wonderful person, and he gives so much life and energy also to the whole EODF community. And so he's a very extraordinary person who also challenges the status quo, who looks forward to build better people systems or organizations. And this is also what makes EODF, from my point of view, special and very energizing. So I consider EODF a sort of safe space also to really challenge the status quo and to rethink organizations and or people systems, however you would like to call it. And that's great.
How many people have you seen in leadership in organizations, other organizations, with that type of openness to life?
Not that many. I wish I had. Not that many, really. So these people have multiple years of experience usually, or are in the middle of their career, or somehow at the end. And I've seen also that more people are recognizing this at the end of their career, that they really have to give up the control, and that certain things just become better if you don't want to control it.
I wonder if it's fair to say that really what they have to give up is their sense of control, because they've never actually really had it.
The illusion of control.
The illusion of control. Thank you. That's a better way to put it, Matt.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly the topic. Yeah.
There was a study I read about firefighters, and they kind of went along with the instructions that we're giving 27% of the time. The rest of the time was whatever was there, the floor was falling, and the guy said, go to the roof. Now they took care of the floor first and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why it's an illusion that you have control. Is you tell your people, and they go and nothing.
Yeah.
Well, and as we've heard from so many of the folks that we've interviewed that are in the military, you suggest what needs to happen, right? Yeah. And then you allow the team to do what needs to be done. You don't tell them what to do, because when you tell them what to do, you're making the mistake of us thinking that you know what needs to be done. And the example of I'm so bad with names. Help me out, Matt. The submarine.
Oh, David Marquet.
David Marquet saying, hey, turn the submarine into this gear, and the second in command saying, put it in this gear, and then finding out that gear doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. And he says to the second in command, why did you issue that command if you know that gear doesn't exist? He says, well, it was a command, so I'm supposed to tell it to issue the command. That's what we're doing in organizations.
So help me out before we leave. We have about 2 minutes here, but one thing that's always bothered me about OD, the OD part of the thing, is that there's this idea that you can design an organization, and I see organizations as street. It's a group of people that get together to do something. So that's the seed. And then you water as best you can, and you give it fertilizer as best you can, and all that stuff. But it grows. And sometimes you expect the branches to grow that way, but they grow that way. And so it's, how should I interpret design? I guess is the question in that sense.
Mm-hmm. So I see design more as a conscious intervention to build a better people system, but building the system with the people who are actually in the organization. And I think this makes a big difference.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's a better way to think about it. It's helping grow the organization. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess it's really the perspective, the external perspective, that sometimes when you're inside an organization, you can't necessarily see what is visible from the outside.
Yes, that's correct. So if you are entering in an organization with a completely other view and another background, with a lack of knowledge also about the organization, you're seeing the things very differently. And you have also the opportunity to show this to the people who are working in the system, and I'm missing a word, they're supporting on their way to recognize it and to make things better. And I think this is one of the key challenges of every external person, consultant, however you would like to call it.
Yeah, I have one more question, and I think Matt's going to introduce our guest next week. But Hannes, what, in your opinion, is going to be happening over the next 10, 15, 20 years in this space? What's the trajectory? What's the direction that we are heading towards, in your view?
Okay. In the last couple of months, I've seen some signals that things need to change as the world becomes more and more unforeseeable, uncontrollable. Organizations need absolutely to work on the adaptability slash flexibility of the overall system. Then at the other side, they have really to focus on the people, and so become more people, absolutely more people-centric. And I think in the next couple of years, we will see some organizations crushing, and some other organizations who did their job on work on building up a better system, they will thrive, I think. So very, very black and white. And then
the need for change.
Pardon?
The need for change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
People are starting to see the need for change.
Yes.
Yeah, that's reassuring for us because we think the system as it is broken. And let me announce next week's guest is Massimo Lavelli, and here we go. And it's about infusing. The title is infusing humanity at the workplace for purposeful progress. And it's going to happen Monday, December the 18th, as opposed to Wednesday. I know Massimo. I met him in Italy, and he's full of energy and hooked on learning. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, Massimo is an awesome young man who's, as you said, full of energy. So looking forward to that. Hannes, a real pleasure. Thank you for sharing with us the work you're doing, the journey you're taking, because I think that's a really important part for people to see that we are, as individuals, taking this journey, and it is the personal journey that ultimately turns into change in organizations. So people like you and many others who are going through that, thank you for that, and thank you for sharing it.
Yes.
And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you,
Same here.
Matt. And yeah, see you soon. Thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you.